Alright guys, we're back at it again right here at Brooks Landscape. I want to show you what we got going on right now. This is a French drainage installation. And what it's going to do is it's going to deal with the water that would have been coming in from the neighbor's yard through this fence. But it's also going to deal with the water that had been moving on this landscape for some time now. And this is just what we do on a consistent basis, guys. We come up with landscape drainage solutions, and then we provide you with a way in order to deal with them in a way that deals with your landscape drainage problem forever. And that's what this is. And so you can see from the French drainage installation, what's going to actually happen is the water that would have been coming in on this landscape all through here where you see a lot of this moss at, and then also being able to come from this neighbor's yard, says that no longer is that going to be the case. It also was making its way from the back of this landscape. And so what I did is I came up with the design using my river rock in order to be able to ensure that this water is not going to be able to go beyond this area here that I'm carving out. In addition to that, it's going to be able to fall to the path of least resistance. Now, by falling to the path of least resistance, it's going to be also taken up by the river rock design along with the erosion control fabric that's going to continue itself up this way. And then it's also going to be able to be taken care of by a design that allows for us to be able to bring in the decorative gravel. Now, all three of these sediments or what we call aggregates are going to be able to suck up water, but then also having this French drainage pipe in here is really going to ensure us that we're able to get that water off the property. Now, in addition to that, because we had lost so much grass on this landscape just due to the path of least resistance as water was moving, coming out of the sky, we went with the better grass. That's right. So if you're dealing with a homeowner who is asking you to solve their landscape problem that maybe requires new sod, you need to make sure that the landscape drainage problem won't require you to have to put in a different type of sod. And in this case, that's what we have. We're going to have to put in a different type of sod, that being the beautiful Zeon Zoysia sod, that's going to allow for us to be able to put the proper installation in, that's going to be able to take on the amount of water that moves on this landscape. And so the one thing about the Zeon Zoysia, it's drought tolerant, it's shade tolerant. It also has the ability to repair and regrow itself. So unlike the Bermuda, where once it's done, folks. There's nothing you can do about it. But when you get the beautiful Zeon Zoysia, it's a grass that's going to be able to repair itself. And so those are some of the characteristics that you look for in an area that has a lot of landscape drainage issues. Now, in addition to that, if you have a lot of foot traffic with, kids, or if you got a lot of pets, with foot traffic, then this is an excellent grass because it's going to be one that is able to repair itself if it's ever damaged. In addition to that, you got to think about where the water is coming from on your landscape. And so most of the time people try to deal with the problem that has occurred because of where the water is coming from, which would have allowed for me to just bring in sod and not be able to deal with the reason why we're bringing in sod. And so anytime you're doing a landscape design, or you're coming up with a way to solve a problem on a landscape, it's necessary that you understand where the water is coming from. And in this case, here's where it's coming from. It's coming from back behind here. And that water was being able to move, and it was moving down this way. But no longer is it going to be able to do that after we finish this landscape design, guys, because we're going to be able to ensure that that water is now being able to fall this way, which is then going to be able to fall within our design that we're going to create that allows for our dry creek bed and at a large size, that being that what you see over here. So this type of a river rock, along with our dry creek bed design, is going to give this customer an opportunity to be able to take all that water that would have been moving down this way now to be able to move this way. And it's also going to provide them with the French drainage installation that's going to allow for us to be able to take in all that water effectively. Now, these are just some of the ways in which we continue to solve our customers' landscape drainage problems, and it's the reason why we've become one of the highest rated landscaping companies around, because we're focused on solving our customers' landscape problems and giving them a solution that's going to last. Now, here's that beautiful Zeon Zoysia sod. I'll show you that later, but I want to help you understand the reason why we need to put that French drainage system in. And this is what you look for in the landscape, guys. It's the amount of erosion that you see happening and taking place. And so that's made evident by the amount of moss that would have been present on this landscape. And with that being said, then you can better understand why it was necessary that we went with this design. But in addition to it, I also want you to understand where this water is coming from. It's coming off of this hillside, And then it's also coming from this neighbor's yard. So if you can look at the neighbor's yard, you can see where the water is literally running through her yard and it's falling out of that fence line. And that just has to do with the design that they've been able to put together. You can see they got a large retaining wall here. Helps you better understand the need to be able to have something to deal with the amount of water that's moving. But inevitably that water is now moving to the back of the landscape and it's moving onto our customer's landscape. And that's something we don't want. So for us to deal with that, we got to come up with a design that's going to be able to solve that problem. And so what we're doing is we're going with a design that gives us the opportunity to be able to take the water that's coming from here and then put it into a French drainage system over here. So you can see that all taking place right now. Absolutely necessary, folks. So all the water that's coming from the neighbor's yard that has caused a lot of this erosion has been making its way through this fence. And so now by being able to come in and provide this customer with the French drainage system, we're able to deal with all that water once and for all.